take my time. Maybe just for a day, I got to run away. And I'm never gonna cry.
Hi, welcome to a new show called Down the Shore. I'm Margaret.
Hi, I'm Bill.
And I'm Joe.
And I'm Joe.
As the name implies, we're down the shore,
We're going to show you places you can go and things you can see, like fireworks
boardwalks.
and beaches.
And we'll also be taking tours of area attractions.
So join us. We'll have something for everybody.
Joe, our first show, B.
Who do you think you are, William Shatner?
Yes, Buck.
Well, you're not very good at it. Anyway, for our first show, Margaret and Debbie are going to be taking a beach walk on Point Pleasant Beach. It was done through Jenkinson's Aquarium with the Director of Education, Beth, and let's have a look and see what they did.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Hi, we're at Jenkinson's Aquarium in Point Pleasant Beach.
And we're here with Beth Gentile from the aquarium, and she's going to take us on a beach walk today. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going to happen?
Sure. What we're going to do today is it's free for anybody who's welcome to join and we would like to join. And what we're going to do is we're going to start in front of the aquarium. We're going to go over some general things, some shells, and just some different things that are usually found on the beach in Point Pleasant specifically, because that's where we have to work. And then what we're going to do is after we describe some things to everybody, whoever joins us, we're going to go for a little walk on the beach. Hopefully, there's not a lot of people. We're going to try and fight the crowd and go down right to the water. That's where we'll find the majority of the organisms. Then we're going to head down towards the inlet, which isn't a far walk, probably about 10-15 minutes just walking straight. And we're going to look for some more organisms down there. What the idea is to have everybody identify and maybe trying to pick out some things on their own. Hopefully they can start to learn what it is that they see when they come down here to visit, or when they live here. A lot of times they don't know what it is they're seeing. And then after that, we're going to actually head back on the boardwalk, because it's a little quicker, and come back here and discuss some of the things that we will find. And hopefully everybody will learn a little bit about more of where they live or where they're coming to visit. My name is Beth, and this is Gina, and we're going to be leading the beach walk today. Basically what we're hoping to do, and I'm going to say hoping because we never know what to expect on a day, especially a busy day like this. What ideally we want to do is we're going to go over some stuff that you may or may not see. It's what we're going to be looking for when we go on the beach. We're going to head down probably where we can see an open spot, walk a little bit around there, and try and head towards the inlet. Depending on the time, we may not head that far. We're going to have to kind of play it by ear and see. Also, hopefully maybe we'll find a lot of good things here and we don't need to go that far. So we'll keep our hopes up for today. One of the major things which are very common, I was out here yesterday trying to find out what we could find, definitely oyster shells. You'll find quite a few of. For those of you who don't know, oysters are a pretty big delicacy for seafood around here. The shells can be anywhere from a grayish color to a whitish color, and you will find a lot of fragments of them. You may not find whole ones like this, but you will see lots of pieces of them. So they're very common around here. The other one is this one right here, which is an interesting one. It's the quahog, or we also call it the little-necked or cherry stone clam. And you'll probably find little pieces of that as well, if not the whole ones. What you really want to look for in them is the purple on the inside. Sometimes it'll be a little right here. Sometimes the whole thing will be actually outlined in purple. And what's really nice about those is they actually used to use that for money. The Indians used to use it, and it was an exchange because they thought it was pretty, used for a lot of jewelry. Wampum. Exactly. So you'll find a lot of those. The razor clams, you will see either whole ones or you'll see a lot of pieces as well. And the razor clams are a lot different than most of the shells you find because of the way they actually dig themselves into the sand. They're like that because they have a very long extended foot, and they will actually dig, and they almost jump instead of actually crawling or swimming. They'll jump by actually pushing themselves out of the water with that long body of theirs. So they're pretty common around here. This you'll definitely find. There was tons of them yesterday down towards the inlet. Those are the surf clams. Very common around here. It's just their leftover shells is what it is. And we will see probably a lot of pieces of those as well. That's a pretty large one. That's about as large as they get. But you will find them very small as well. Those are the kind you can eat. Yep, and you can also eat the quahogs right here. They're sold as little necked or cherry stone clams. Actually, right over at the pavilion they have them, as a matter of fact. The two down here that you'll see, the blue ones, the one on the right over here is very common. I saw plenty of those yesterday. Those are blue mussels. And you can notice them apart from the ribbed mussel, which is right here, because the ribbed actually has the lines going down. The blue mussel just has the three different colors, usually like a whitish, then another color blue, and then a darker blue that goes down. Both of them are very edible. However, the ribbed isn't as common. If you ever order mussels, odds are you'll get the blue one. And that's because the ribbed ones are very, very gritty. A lot of sand, and they're not as common, not as easy to find. So you'll probably, if you ever get mussels, it's probably the blue mussel you're going to be eating. The next kind is the bay scallop down there. Scallops are also very common. Sometimes in restaurants, however, you may not know it, but you may be getting stingray or shark or something else as scallop. It's really hard to tell the taste because they basically taste similar. But scallops, you'll find a lot of those shells around here. You can find them right along here and also in bays. They wash up in bay areas. This, without the tag, is very interesting. Does anybody know what that is? An egg case, right. It's from a skate. If anybody doesn't know what a skate is, it's very similar to a stingray.
Yeah.
But what doesn't it do that a stingray does, you know?
Sting.
Right, it doesn't sting. So skates are pretty nice to see because you can go up and you can pet them. They lay their eggs in the cases like that, which are called mermaid's purses. And what they have is they have the 4 little ends right on here, with 2 on each side, and that's to actually attach themselves. When they lay the egg, it will attach or wrap itself around a plant, and that way it stays stationary and it'll have time to hatch. When it comes out, it's extremely small, and then what's left over is the case, and it will dry up and wash up on the beach, and you can find quite a bit of them around here. The next one, the jingle shells, those are very neat to see. They're very different colors. There's 3 of them right there. Very shiny. You'll see very tiny ones. They're hard to find because they are smaller. You also might find something that looks like that, but it's actually part of a snail. It's what we call the operculum, and it's the front door of a snail is what we call it. It's actually how the snail closes. So if you see something that looks like that, I know it's blown away. You might want to just kind of show it to me. I'll tell you whether it's actually the jingle shell or if it is a part of a snail. The chestnut clam looks basically like a small quahog right here. So it's very hard to look at, but what you do is you turn it over. If you don't see any purple, then it's a chestnut clam. That's a good indication. Also, that's about as big as you're going to see those get. They don't get much larger than that, whereas the quahogs do get pretty large.
How do the shells grow?
I'm sorry, what was
How
that?
do they grow?
How do they grow? Good question. All of the shells that you'll see here, as well as snail shells that you may find on the beach, are actually formed from the animal. And what it is, to be technical or not so technical, they actually spit and form their shell. It's a mucus, and it has chemicals in it, as well as when it hits the water, it has tons of nutrients, and the cold temperatures will actually form the shell. And it just keeps adding on, and with the snail shells, this one's a good one to show out. If you look at the top, it's kind of a little dot right there. That's how small he was when he started. And he secretes mucus little by little, and it forms unevenly, and that's why it actually goes clockwise. And if it's counterclockwise, it's just the other way, is all it does. This one right here that I was just pointing out is a moon snail, and it is a type of snail. It's very, very common in New Jersey and all over the North Shores, and we'll see them in several different sizes. Usually you can find the small ones, or just the top we'll find around here. But they're very neat to see. You can see the lobe on the inside, and they can grow pretty large. It's a pretty good size right there. The next one is the slipper shell. Those are very common around here as well. Where you really want to look for them, though, is on animals. We have horseshoe crabs here, and tons of them have little slipper shells attached to them. They basically get a free ride off the animals is what they do. They will attach themselves, and then they swim with the animals by staying on there, and they get their nutrients and their food when the animal eats. It's almost like a free ride and a free meal was what he gets. Hopefully what we will see are some of the crabs that are along the bottom. The seashells, as well as crab shells, will wash up a lot. And the different kinds of crabs you'll find. This one right here, you can't really see the color, but it's actually a blue crab. Blue crabs are very easy to look at or find with their claws. If you can find their claws, it's a clear indication. They're a bright blue, almost a purplish color as well. And they're very common along the shores. If you see one, do not touch them because their claws do pinch extremely hard, even the younger ones. If you can catch him by holding his claws, that's fine. But you might not want to go too close to his claws. Right down here, the lady crab. It's very common around here as well. And you'll see a lot of those shells. Those are probably the more common ones. Along with another one we don't have on there, but that's the spider crab. After storms, they're very common. You'll find just the shells. You'll find the shells of the spider crabs around here after a lot of storms wash up.
Those are all
The horseshoe crab, hopefully we will see some of those. I haven't seen many around here, which is unfortunate. The horseshoe crab is my favorite animal, but that's besides the point. But it is this time of year is actually their mating season, their breeding season. They come up, I know they spotted tons of them in Cape May. They will come up on the beach and they will actually lay their eggs on the beach. Some of them don't survive because they are out of the water too long and they will actually die. Or you may find an empty shell on the beach, which is actually just the molt. When crabs actually grow, they will lose their shell instead of adding on, like secreting mucus, like the snails do. They will actually lose their shell, and it helps them to grow a little bit larger. That is just the tail and the bottom part of the horseshoe crab. Hopefully we'll find some more. And then the last thing on here is the rock crab down there, which looks very similar to the lady crab, only it doesn't have as much speckles or as reddish color as the lady crab does. So those are some of the things that we're going to find. Do you guys have any questions about any of the things on this board before we start with some other stuff?
Could you find king crab here too?
Can you find what?
King crab.
King crab? No. You might find some green crabs and hermit crabs. That's one thing thing we can look for, as well as we're going to try and, we get close enough to the water, we're going to try and dig for some mole crabs and some sand crabs. Those are those little bubbles that you see when there's little holes. I'm sorry, what? Periwinkles? More, if we get to the inlet, hopefully we should have enough time, I believe, to get to the inlet. You will find some periwinkles, snails actually attached on the jetties and the doluses that are down there.
What are jetties?
The jetties are the rocks that you see down there, and actually the jetties are the rock part, but those white structures that you see, those are called doluses, and they were actually put there kind of as an add-on to the jetty. And what that serves, is supposed to serve, is to actually help out with the beach and with making the inlet for the boats. But what it does, unfortunately, is it causes a lot of problems with the storms. Because when the storms come in, they'll wash out a lot of things, and that's unnatural. It's not supposed to be there. Mother Nature wants to fight it. She'll keep crashing some waves up, washing some things up, and it's causing a lot of erosion on the beach because the sand has nowhere to go. It can't naturally move down, so it's actually moving out to sea, which isn't such a good thing, but it helps with the inlet with the boats coming in, so that's why they have it down there. Which we will see. I think we might actually have some time to head to the inlet. So those of you who are joining the beach walk, I just need to make sure everybody has a stamp on their hand, otherwise we won't be able to get on the beach. If you need a stamp, just go right into the front desk and she'll stamp your hand. Yeah, they might blow it. These will help you for identifying when you're on the beach, some different shells. Because we're going on the beach as well. We're going to try and pick up some garbage as we see it along. So I don't want anybody picking it up because I'll do that part. But we are bringing the bags, so hopefully we can help clean up a little bit while we're out there as well. Thank you. Perfect. We're scared. You know what? Why don't I hang on to it because I'm going to bring the bag with me. This way you don't have to hold the boat. And if you need another one, just let me know. Okay. Got it short? Yeah. Let me take this. Okay, is everybody stamped? I think they're still waiting to get stamped. Is anybody here not from the area? Okay.
You mean New Jersey?
Well, around the shore area. Where are you from?
No.
I thought he was telling you didn't know where you're from.
I don't think there's an ocean there, man.
I was going to say, I'm like, even down here before, though, hopefully we'll find some stuff. I mean, usually the best time to come out here is right after a storm. You can't imagine what you can find down by the inlet. I mean, tons of sea stars, hermit crabs, spider crabs. That's why I usually come up and we run down there and we collect our stuff. That's how we get most of our stuff. Yesterday,
Did you find something?
And then right here,
blue mussel to you?
this is what I mean about locusts.
I don't know.
This is what I mean about snail. Right here. But it's only a little piece of them.
The red ones. With the razor clam.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Look at that already. This is an oyster drill. Yeah, it wasn't on that board, was it? All right, we have our first little shell here. This is from an oyster drill. It's a type of snail. And what you'll see is, like I said before, oh, this is good because you can see the middle. He starts up here and he'll form little by going counterclockwise or clockwise and circular and going around and around and around and getting larger and larger.
It's part of your razor.
Thank you. Your board? That's not a bad idea, but hang on to it. Okay, thank you. Yes, piece of razor clam. Here we have one right here. This is a nice one too. A little piece of the razor clam that we showed up there. Want to see? Want to hang on to it? See what else we can do.
What'd you find?
I forget the name of it.
Is it on your list?
Ooh, I found it was one that wasn't on there. The one that the other woman just found. The drill something or other. Scientific term. The drill something
The drill something or other. Anything?
Piece of the moon.
What?
That's just a tiny piece of a moon snail shell.
Oh.
You can't really tell except by actually taking.
What?
A rock crab?
Rock crab?
Sits on, no. Like
They always have bigger inside. They'll grow a lot larger, actually.
Yeah, that's a very small one. That's why it's hard to tell. The coloration changes as the adults grow. So a lot of times it's hard for identification.
Why won't it sting me? He don't sting.
I'm like, it's a, yeah.
Cool.
I'm like, no, it's a rock crab, but yeah.
Throw him in.
It takes a while for it to register.
Did you dig?
All right.
I guess ask. I don't know what this one is either. Surf clam or a quail. Quail. I have to ask her. Where'd you go? Oh, look what I found. Now, which one is this? Yeah, wait a minute. Turn my page. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that should be a seed pod of skate. Let's find it. Whoops. Flying away here.
Not here. I don't see it.
Well, keep it. It looks good.
All right, we'll have to show it
That's
after.
a skate seed pod.
A skate
Or egg pod.
egg pod. Yes. Egg case. Yes.
Yeah.
Here it was.
And this is what, well, the mermaid's first, and here's the 4 tips, and that's what wraps around. And it looks like, yeah, it came out right from the side, right here. They'll actually burrow through, and they come out about this big.
How many eggs are in each case?
There's 1 animal in each case.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Oh,
1 skate in each case. And we have a female skate right now at the
this where they
aquarium, and so
started?
far has laid about 15 eggs.
Wow.
Yeah, and she just, and it's not at once. It's just about, over the span of maybe a month almost, she lays them. She actually stores the eggs and sperm and will just lay them at different intervals whenever she feels like it. So that's pretty neat. Oh, good, and we got a horseshoe crab leg. Put it in your case. And here's the horseshoe crab leg. And it's a very good size one, you can tell because of the size of the claw. The ones we have are usually about this wide across, and their claws are probably about maybe half the size. So this is a pretty good one. You see this? I know, that's why I said, I'm like, I'd like to find the rest of this guy. It's still, yeah, it looks pretty fresh. I mean, he's still, I don't want to say, but he's still pretty much in there. Ew. I know, he brings him to the kid. I can smell him. I'm like, he's still in there. So maybe we'll find the rest of them down at the inlet over here. This is an oyster drill. It's a type of snail, very common around here. Usually you'll find them on the rocks, so that's probably why we found them this close. And you can see the insides just a little bit. And I believe you had one as well, didn't you?
I think I had one, but I didn't.
They're different colors. They can be anywhere from a light tan like this to almost a blackish color.
Oh, that's Joe's. Here's a box.
Yep, this is an oyster drill as well, right here. And you can see they're different colors, but that's just because this is a juvenile, and as they get older, they actually get darker in coloration. And it's the same with the horseshoe crab. If this was a juvenile, it would probably be almost like a yellow or a beige color, but the adults are almost a brown or a black.
Who's this?
Go on then.
That's a ghost crab, isn't it?
Yeah.
A what? A what?
A ghost crab.
Can I put him in here?
Oh, these are my favorite. Okay.
Can we put him in here?
I tell them,
No.
when I kill them.
Ghost crabs, as they get older, they'll probably be lighter in color, but you can always pick them out. Their shell, or what's called their carapace, this part right here, is almost a square, as opposed to the other ones which are like an oval shape. And what you can always look for is their eyes are on very tall stalks. Well, don't want to tease him now,
His eyes are popping up.
but he's a very light color because he actually blends in. He'll almost always feed at night
That's why they call
and come out at night.
Him in the eye.
That's a neat one. I've never seen them around here.
So they only come out at night.
Usually they feed at night. Like, they'll walk out in the day, but they don't like to come out in the direct sunlight. And so usually you'll see them, and at night, they're ghost crabs because you can't see anything but really their eye stalks.
Oh, wow.
That's a nice one.
See, his eyes went in.
If he starts,
In the
if he
shade.
starts flying, you're in trouble.
We got another one. Another type. No.
Oh.
This is a
Put one in here?
That's a sin.
male fiddler crab.
Oh my
Oh yeah, with the big
Yes.
claw, one big
Do you know what the
claw.
big claw is used for?
Yeah, to attract the
Fiddling?
females.
Yes, it is, to wave her into his hole. That's what he does. They dig their little holes, and then they stand there with the arm, and they wave the females
Do the
in.
females have big arms?
The females do not. The females will have 2 little claws like this one. I don't know if this one's alive, though.
So then
Can't
put
tell
him
me
in.
if
No,
he's
he
alive.
moved.
Is he
That's the
moving?
only
Yeah.
real big use of those crabs.
These get a lot larger. When you see some size of the claws of these, I mean, where I was just doing research, they had their claws were easily about this size, and you can see them a mile away, just sitting in the holes, waving their claws back and forth.
They really do that?
They really do. Yeah, I've seen it done, or otherwise I wouldn't be able to tell you if that
Could
was
I
true.
put him in
Then
here?
you come home from the library and the guys in the dormitory have these big claws out the door waving you in, right?
Can I take a picture of that guy?
Sure. You put both of them
If
together.
I can get his fiddler.
Do both of them
His
together?
big claw.
Yeah, the claw.
How about, let's see. Wish we can get him to wave.
Yeah,
That'd be real
he's not
interesting.
waving to a ghost crab though.
He's like, come on. All right, we're going to put him back because he still looks like he's alive. If we find an empty shell, though, you're going to be the first to get him, I think.
Poke him.
You don't want, this one goes back there
Yes.
too, I would think.
Yes.
Let's poke
You
him.
just put them right on the edge, they will find their way back. Whoop, watch. I'll leave this in.
Okay, give it to the franchise.
What's this one? What's her things on it?
That must be another, it's not a ghost crab. A female fiddler crab, you think? Yeah.
Is that the same as that?
Yeah, I believe this is a female fiddler.
This is not a female, this is a male.
Get this one to fiddle at it.
Yep, there's another.
Get this one to fiddle at it. Put him on the ground and see if he'll
You really want to hurt these crabs, don't you?
Put him on the ground and see if he'll wave.
If he'll wave?
Yeah.
We have two of them. We have a male and a female, so what do you think?
We're trying to make sure that
Put him on the ground, then.
Oh, I don't know if they're not moving a whole lot, though.
So then put him in
Yeah,
here.
you know what? These guys haven't made it. These guys didn't survive very
Okay, put him in
much.
here.
Wait, nope, she's moving.
No, she's not.
Yes,
You're
she
not
was.
moving.
Watch. He can verify it for me. He's got it on film.
Sorry,
So I
kid.
can say I'm saving the animals.
She's saving the animal.
No, don't tease them.
I know,
How
but
about
he's
this
dead
one?
if he won't move his eyes.
This one, I believe you're right, though.
Okay, here.
Let me hold on to him just to make sure. And if by the time we get back he isn't going anywhere, then I'll know. Let's put her back, though.
All right.
Put her right back here. Come on, you.
Look, I found a man-made pick. Get it? Look. Look, I found a man-made pick.
Ocean-made pick, I think.
Ocean-made. Yeah,
Ocean-made.
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 You know what I meant.
I'll never. Who's looking in the rocks? Yes, we have him in the rocks. Is he moving? If we want to take a try to make sure if this guy's going to move or not.
Muscles are attached.
Hey, you said something about sea stars?
Yes. We're hoping to find some sea stars, which this is the inlet, by the way.
Okay.
Manasquan Inlet right here. And sea stars are the type of animals that will attach to things, because that is how they walk. They will actually attach with suction cups to the bottom of things or to rocks. So since this is a pretty good area for the water as well as the land, they'll attach themselves to the rocks inside. But because of a lot of the pollution and just a lot of natural predators, there's not so many out there anymore.
Now, is that a starfish? Is that what you're talking about?
Starfish or a sea
You don't
star?
call them
Yes.
starfish anymore?
We don't call them starfish anymore because they are not fish. They never were fish. So starfish is almost like a nickname that it acquired because they live in the ocean, so people just presume they're fish. But they're a type of invertebrate, which is just an animal without a backbone. So we call them sea stars now.
Okay.
Were they attached to the rocks?
That's what you said. They attach to things.
Oh, either off fine line or off fall.
Very good.
Oh, there's an actual fish over here dead. Look, there's a dead fish right there.
I don't know. It's a sandy fish.
Sandy fish. It's covered in
A
sand.
sandy fish. This is a good thing. You give me okay?
Now he's open.
He's kind of ugly looking, actually.
Okay, which way? The fish that we see down there with his mouth wide open is a striped bass.
Okay.
Very small one, actually. A pretty small size one. Yeah. If he was a little cleaner, he would probably taste very good, but I don't know if anybody wants to attempt it the way he looks right now. Probably somebody caught him and either threw him back there, or he might have even gotten caught and the tides were high enough. She's not alive.
So the crab is dead, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Crab is
He gets his crab.
Are you dead? Crab has been pronounced
It's dead.
DOA.
DOA.
That's probably why he wasn't fighting us on anything. Or we.
What'd you find there?
Didn't know we were doing rock climbing, did you?
I thought this was a beach walk. It's not rock climbing.
Yeah, right? 1, 2, 3.
And you're up there. Ta-da.
I've survived the physical fitness course. I've walked the beach and up the rocks, and now I'm at the inlet thingy. Going this way.
Going this way.
Oh, look at all the boats. All the sailboats. Must look like a fishing boat. Aren't they pretty? There's fishermen out here, too.
Trying to steal somebody's box.
Well, it came sailing past me. I thought I'd save it.
Oh.
Big bird nest. Now all one knows who's going to save me.
You're on your own, kid.
I think I'll go. There, secret's nest.
And now it's getting kind of close to the end, so what we're gonna have to do is actually head back. And so far, it seems like it was actually pretty good. We found more crabs than usual, which was good. And hopefully we'll walk along maybe the edge and see if we can find anything up there on the way back.
You make it?
I think so. I cheated once. I sat down once, but the rest of the way, and done it me.
And she has beach, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
this, I'm ready for rock climbing. I'm so excited. I like that.
Yeah.
We're back at the aquarium. We've just come back from our beach walk, and these are some of the things that we found, and Beth's going to explain some of them and see if we can learn a little bit about them. Okay, this is what I found.
This is your little collection. This right here is just the claw from a lady crab. And you can tell the lady crab because of the markings. It's got the nice red color right there. And it's a pretty good size one. It's a pretty good size claw, which does pinch extremely hard. So it's a good thing the rest of the animal wasn't attached with this one.
Okay, here we got a couple little shells
Okay,
here.
this one right here is a chestnut clam, it's called, and this is about as big as it'll grow. It won't grow much larger, just another type of clam that you can find very common along here. And you can see the different ribs right here, which actually, I believe it might even indicate the H. As it grows, it starts getting ribbed like this instead of spiraled, like the snails. This looks to be like a juvenile or a very small slipper shell. Excuse me, it's a snail. And it attaches to horseshoe crabs, for example, which we did see one of those, and a couple other animals, and just gets a free ride. It doesn't have to attach to much else, and will feed off of the animal that it's attached to. But it doesn't harm the animal, which is good.
Okay, now I'm not sure if these three things are the same,
Okay?
but I figure.
These, yes, they are. They are just different sizes.
Mussels?
These are mussels, blue mussels. Very edible, very good, actually, and edible. This is just a smaller one, which is attached. You can see it's opened up. And you can tell this is different than a ribbed mussel, which has the line straight down it, which I don't believe we found any of. I didn't
And there was
see
a
them
lot
out
of
there.
these.
Yes.
Yeah.
These will wash up. You'll see them attached together. They actually attach with threads. Will come out and they will stick together, and as well to stick to rocks and boats. So these are very neat.
I do too, that's fine.
This was my last find here.
This is an oyster. It's just a part of it, and oysters we know around here are very common and also very good to eat in restaurants. And what's neat, they used to use the oysters. That's where the pearls, a lot of pearls come from, and you can see inside how it's a pearly layer almost. They call it the inside. Yeah, it's a real nice one. Nice size pearl out of this one, I bet.
Yeah, we from down the shore would like to thank you, Beth, for taking us out on the beach and showing us some of the marine life that can be found in Point Pleasant Beach.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I had a good time.
Great. Thank you very much.
As you can see, the sun is setting, and that's the end of our first show.
That's it. That's all we have time for. It went pretty fast, but I hope that you learned something. I know I did.
I did too.
I did too. Join us next week when we'll be in Seaside Heights. We'll be seeing the fireworks, and we'll show you where and when to see them. And we'll also have our picture taken at Old Time Photo. So join us next week. Take it easy. Oh, we're so cool. Bye. Goodbye.
Nobody wants to say the first.